Hi, Emma from Gorgeous here. Welcome to another episode of our quick guides on how to knit and crochet. Today we're looking at I-cords and tassels, any size, how to make them. So let's get going. So first of all, what we need, some sharp embroidery scissors or wool cutting scissors, normal scissors for cutting cardboard with, some cardboard cut to the size you need, coming back on that point later, two double pointed needles, the correct size for the yarn you're using, in this case 4.5 mil. Now if you don't have these, we'll also be showing you a quick solution, an easy solution just to use your single pointed needles. And we've got a tapestry needle, a ruler, and of course the yarn. So first of all, we're going to do an I-cord tassel that is two stitches thick and 5.5 centimeters long. You can do an I-cord tassel that's any length, and you could make an I-cord 4, 5, even 6 stitches long. Let's start by creating a loop. So I'm going to put it around my 2 fingers. I'm then going to pull the loop up through the middle, and I have a loop. I want a bit of a tail on this because I'm going to be sewing it onto whatever I'm using it for, in this case a jacket. So put the loop over the needle, tighten it up, and let's do a simple, we need 2 stitches. So we've got 1 stitch, we'll do a simple cable cast on. Put the right hand or the working needle through the existing loop, round the needle, back through it, pull that new stitch through and pop it on to the top. Oopsie daisy. There we go, good. Okay, so we've got 2 stitches. We're literally going to knit these for 5.5 centimeters. So that is 1 row, quickest row ever achieved. Although I'm doing it in slow motion, so you'll be doing it even quicker. Now, what we do with a double pointed needle is we slide it to the end of that needle, and we take the empty needle. What we're doing all the time is taking the yarn round the back, so we're making sure we're pulling it tight. 2 stitches, done. Give it a tug, put it through, slide it along. Round the needle. Obviously we've got an instruction on how to knit, do the knit stitch separate video, so I don't want to spend time on that. It's one of our important things is to try and keep these short. Pull it sharp, slide it along the needle one last time, and then I'm going to show you how to do the same thing with single pointed needles. So the trick to remember is you're always sliding it along and pulling it down. So we are going to only have single pointed needles. So the first thing we're going to do is slide the, I'm just going to get the project ready to work on the 2 needles. Slip them off. That's now on the left hand holding needle. We're going to take the yarn behind and we're going to knit 2 stitches exactly as before, pull the yarn down. Then we're just going to have to pass these stitches, hopefully less clumsily than I just managed, across back to the holding needle, which is the equivalent of sliding it across. Knit these 2 again, back to the holding needle, pull it down, slide across. So we have done, let's have a look, we have done about 3 centimeters. I'm going to do the rest off camera and come back to show you how to finish it off and do the I-cord tassel. Thank you. So here we are, 5.5 centimeters later and a matter of moments. And all we need to do is do the simple cast off. I mean, you could use any cast off, but why would you not use cable cast off? Because really it's the most straightforward, and we're literally casting off 2 stitches. So 1 stitch done, 2 stitches, pop that one over the top, and I'm going to use get some scissors. I'm going to leave quite a lot of yarn on this because I want to use it for something else. So literally let's just take the yarn and pull it through that hoop like that. There is first part done. Right, on to the tassel. So depending on the size of your of the tassel that you want, our tassel is 5.5 centimeters, as is our I-cord. So we've used scissors to cut this to 5.5 centimeters, which luckily is a perfect size. I'm like an advert for San Pellegrino, aren't I? Love the fact that's a perfect size. So in terms of the length, it doesn't matter, but just so it's easy for you to hold is what we want to achieve. So at this point, I'm just going to wrap this round 20 times. I don't want to make you seasick, so let's bring it out a little bit so you can see it. And that's twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Again, it doesn't matter how many times you loop it through, that's entirely up to you. I'm going to cut it here, and then I'm going to take some more yarn from my main piece and thread it through. If you've done yours really tightly, you might find it easier to use a needle to take it through. I don't generally bother, but just so you can see how it's possible, I'm going to take a needle, thread it through, end of needle purpose for the moment, so I'll get rid of it. We're going to do this as tightly as we can, and then simply knot it again. Let's just cut off a little piece. Good. Now we come to the moment where you need your sharp scissors, and we're going to turn it almost into a tassel by cutting along the bottom edge, the opposite edge to where you've cut from. Marvelous. And then we've got all of these lovely pieces. I'm going to put, these are the two pieces I might want to use to, well, I will want to use to knit it in with, to attach it to whatever with, should I say. And then we need to get another piece of yarn and make it, not sure what this, let's call it a knob. Create a little knob around the top. Don't worry too much if it's untidy at the moment. I'm wrapping it around twice, and then I'm going to do a 1.5 knot. Again, as I said, don't worry if it's a bit imperfect, because you can pull all the bits through as I'm doing now. And I'm going to go so well, so it's so easy to hide the ends that actually it's quite hard for me now to find them in order to finish the job off for you. There we go, I found the tassels. So I'm going to go around one more time, and I'm going to do 1.5, and then perhaps I'm going to knot it like that. Now I like to, I don't think it's necessary, but you see this one that's sticking up, I just take my needle and I just like to, I'll put the needle in first actually in this instance, push it into the middle, because otherwise it just kind of sticks out at a strange angle. I don't think you need to be quite so fussy, but it's just something I find it annoys me otherwise, so I pull it through. That has disappeared. We have almost finished our tassel. Two things, we still need to attach it, and we still need to even it up. So let's just get it even. So although I'm cutting a lot off, it looks like I'm making a lot more than 5.5 centimeters. I'm not, I'm just evening it up. So that is our tassel done. Let's attach it next to the I-cord. Right, here's our I-cord, here's our needle, thread it to one end, doesn't matter which, obviously, of the I-cord, and we're going to thread it through the needle. We'll take that first piece, which is from the I-cord, and we'll just literally pass it through. Pass it through. Try not to get it knotted. The loose end all the way through. And I'm going to leave that longer just for a little bit. I realise that it's now made our tassel very, very uneven, but I just want to be able to know which piece it is. Now I've got two here that I want to take through. I tend to do this with a bit of a I double it up. So I'd rather take a little bit longer to get this entirely, to be sure that I've got it very firmly attached, because you think you have, and then 6 months later you've got a little bit hanging out. What's that stray bit doing there? Go away, stray bit. There you go. Part of the tassel. Okay. There we go. So we've threaded that bit through, and I'm just going to thread it through again. That's one piece, and then we've got the other piece here. I'm going to thread that through once, and then once I've threaded it through, I'm going to go straight down through the middle with that bit. So we've got that one going down through the middle, and this one piece that we've already attached. Let's rethread that. I'm using this, now I've done all of it, I want to check it's central. If it's not, I am going to go back through from this side. It's amazing how one stitch entirely transforms our beautiful little tassel. And I'm now going to take that all the way through down the middle. Okay, check it's properly attached. So, I mean, when I first used to do these, I didn't do them I used to just do them with just an easy stitch, one stitch perhaps. But now, as you see, I've attached it from all the different parts. And I'm now going to cut those 3 level. That's off. So all we need to do is attach it to whatever product we're attaching it to. So that's the last point. In our case, we're attaching it to the hoodie of our baby jacket. So top corner, attach the needle to the other end of your tassel, and thread it again. And then it's funny how knitting, there's always a lot of threading and unthreading when you're sewing in ends, etc. So I'm doing this right into the point, and I'm going to go through it, and then I'm going to come back up it again, because the one thing I have learned is many years is that you need to anchor anything you attach to knitting into more than one stitch, otherwise you're putting too much strain on that one stitch. So let's just pull that through. So we've gone through one stitch, and that's not fair on that stitch to give it all the strain. So I'm going to go back into the I-cord, like so, and then pull it really tight so it looks like it's growing out of your garment, in this case a hoodie. I'm going to go back in again and pull it tight again, and then I'm just going to weave in. We've got a separate instructional video on weaving in, but I think this one's fairly simple. What I would say with this, although we've anchored it twice, is I've woven it in now in one direction. Because it's a tassel, it could get pulled. Let's just make sure it's not tightening. So make sure that's nice and loose. And then I'm going to go back through the other direction, and I'm actually going to intentionally sew through the eye tassel end cord, which is easy to see in this example because it's green. I'm intentionally sewing through that because, again, it's just weaving it in, making it harder for it ever to come apart. Simply cut it neatly. Icord and tassel. I think pretty nice. Thank you.